thought was going to fall apart, managed to stay together. So if you look at the United Republic of Tanzania, great example of unity. And now if you look at Zanzibar as an entity of Tanzania, it also has incorporated within itself a sense of unification through the government of national unity. Now we have to make sure that both of them works, because if Zanzibar does not work as a peaceful and stable entity, a part of the United Republic, then the whole United Republic suffers because of that. So the insight and wisdom of President Samia was to recognize that Zanzibar's unity and harmony is essential to Tanzania's unity and harmony. So I applaud the efforts that are made by this government.
Based on your experience as a diplomat, but also you served as an ambassador to the African Union for 4 years. 2009 to 2013.
Yes.
America pretty much similar, uniting almost 50 states, being run by the federal government. With that vast experience, what would be your message to the Tanzanian government to see this union becomes everlasting, but also beneficial, mutual beneficial, especially to the Tanzanians in the mainland and Zanzibar as well?
Yeah, one of the things we often say in the U.S. is that our differences make us stronger. Our diversity makes us better. And I think Tanzania has probably done a better job at that than most other places in the world. For example, throughout its entire existence, Tanzania has never had ethnic strife. It has never had war and division based on religion. It has never had divisions based upon regions of the country or language distinctions from different tribal contexts. So Julius Nyerere was very intentional about making sure that there was a united people, that every Tanzanian felt that he or she was as much Tanzanian as any other person. So Julius Nyerere did a much, much better job than most people have done. It took him a long time to get a diverse nation to see its commonality, its similarity, its connectiveness. So I would say that Tanzania is an example that even the U.S. is striving in some instances to live up to. We have not always managed to live in a sense of coexistence, because there have been times when racial strife happened in the U.S.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for your insight, for your views, and your take on 60 years of Tanzania's union, Tanganyika and Zanzibar. That's the American ambassador to Tanzania. A great insight from him. America, the largest economy in the world, giving his views and trying to advise the government on how to be economically independent. That's the King of TBC1.
The Minister of Health, Umi Mwalimu, says the use of tobacco, excessive alcohol, not following the correct nutritional rules, and sedentary lifestyle are among the causes of the increase of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes and heart diseases. Umi made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during the opening of the first annual International Conference on Pen Plus in Africa, ICPPA, which aims to provide decentralized and geographically accessible quality care at community health centers to treat common NCDs.
The volume of alcohol consumption increases, and the age band of those using alcohol is going down, alerting us on a potential threat in our young generations, which is the future of this continent. Tanzania, for example, has recorded its highest level of the per capita alcohol consumption of 10.4 liters of pure alcohol in 2023 from 9.1 liter recorded in 2016, despite of significant reduction in proportion of people who drink alcohol from 26% in 2012 to 20% in 2023. So number of people who are basically consuming alcohol has gone down, but the volume has gone up.
Furthermore, the health minister says the government will continue to take various measures to prevent and combat the diseases, such as the provision of education and training for vaccine-preventable diseases.
Equip more than 700 level 2 primary care facilities to provide general NCD services. We are basically having our healthcare system. We begin with the dispensary, number 2 health centers, and we have trained and equipped all health centers to provide general NCD services, targeting 8 conditions: diabetes, hypertension, cancer, especially focusing on cervical cancer and breast cancer, sickle cell, eye, dental health, mental, and asthma.
PEN Plus is a program implemented under the World Health Organization that aims to move testing and treatment services for non-communicable diseases closer to the community and to speed up the fight against the diseases. In other news, Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition GAIN calls on agricultural and nutritional stakeholders as well as the private sector in Tanzania to support inclusive and coherent food systems transformation through the Nourishing Food System Pathways NFP project implemented in the country by the organization in collaboration with various ministries. Speaking during the launch of the project in Dar es Salaam, the head of programs of the organization, Dr. Winfrieda Mayila, says the aim of the project is to partner with the government in improving food systems in the country.
So the Nourishing Food System Pathway is an ambitious program that seeks to accelerate progress toward the Sustainable Development Goal, and particularly the Sustainable Development Goal number 2, weight free from hunger, and the goal that deals with eliminating all forms of malnutrition. So we are supporting inclusive and coherent food system transformation in 10 countries.
The Director of Markets and Food Security from the Ministry of Agriculture, Gungu Mibavu, says the project is being implemented in 7 regions, starting with the Arusha region, and it also intends to complement government's efforts to achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals.
Improved nutrition for coming up with this unique program, which marks a significant milestone in collective effort geared in coming together to help accelerate the progress of national food system transformation, not only in Tanzania, but also in 9 other countries across Africa and Asia. The program is funded through a multilateral agreement spanning 5 years and hold immense promise in supporting national government to ensure that the momentum of food system transformation is also translated into much needed improvement in nutrition health outcomes and planetary health.
It is therefore our sincere hope that these partnerships and collaborations will continue under the Nourishing Food Pathways program that we are about to introduce and launch today, among other GAIN programs and interventions. To our donors, fellow development implementing partners, you being in attendance at this launch occasion is a sign and testament of our collective commitments towards supporting the country's national food system transformation goals through coordinated efforts. Let's endeavor to continue building on this goodwill.
The Nourishing Food System Pathways project is implemented in 10 countries in Africa, including Benin, and it is worth 50 million euros. The Director General of UDA Rapid Transit Public Company Limited, UDART, Waziri Kindamba, says the company plans to restore 40 buses so as to ensure even better services to the residents of Dar es Salaam. Speaking in Dar es Salaam during a press conference targeting to highlight his priorities as a new Director General of the company, Kindamba insists his company is committed to introduce online ticketing, e-card, increase the number of buses providing services, as well as enhancing the customer service efficiency.
Currently, there are paper tickets which has a lot of challenges, including leakages of revenue, the challenge of circulation of small coins, change, is a big problem. And I believe that by introduction of smart cards, we will be addressing the problems that we are facing currently with the paper tickets. But also we spoke about the relocation of UDA RT offices. As you are aware that the current or the previous office was sitting at Msimbazi Basin, where it has got a lot of challenges of flooding. And I, after being appointed by Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, we took a deliberate move with the management to move the offices from Jangwani to Bungo Depot, where we are currently sitting.
On the other hand, the Director General reveals the plan of the company to increase the number of female employees from the current 6% to 30%, as research shows that female drivers work more efficiently.
Basically, there are only 6% of women drivers and mechanics. And our ambitious target is at least to increase that number to 30 to 33%. And therefore, I urge women drivers, I urge women mechanics, at a time when we will announce or will advertise the opportunity for them to join UDA RT, they should apply so that they can join our workforce in UDA RT, because we intend to increase the number of women participation. There are studies which has been done in Ghana as well as in Cape Town, showing that women drivers are more careful, less likely to be involved in accident, and we are hoping that by employing such number of women drivers, we as UDA RT will benefit as well from such workforce.
Now let's take a look at the education sector, whereby non-governmental organization Haki Elimu urges the government through the Ministry of Education to place relevant focus on the budget of the education sector for the financial year 2024-2025 based on the National Development Vision 2050 and the start of the implementation of the new 2023 education policy, which brings various changes in the education sector. Speaking to journalists in Dar es Salaam, the Haki Elimu Executive Director Jean Kalage says going through the process will support the efficiency desired. Here are more details.
Budget for the Ministry of Education is expected to be presented in the Parliament 7th of May. Dr. Kalage insists among the things that the budget for the education sector is the inclusion of technology in the implementation of the new education curriculum.
Sheria yetu ya mwaka 78 yako maeneo.
Our law of 1978 conflict with our current education policy, which stated that primary education is 7 years, but the policy stated that primary education is 6 years. It is clear that the implementation will face challenges, so it is necessary that the law changes in order to align with the new education policy.
On the other hand, the Manager of Research and Analysis of the Right to Education, Makumba Mwemezi, says that the consideration of the recommendations will help the facilitation of the new education policy.
Kwa miaka mitatu iliyopita, uwekezaji umekuwa kati ya 13% mpaka 14%.
For the past 3 years, 13 to 14% has been invested and has not increased, but the Education Development Plan states that funds that are supposed to be invested are from 17% to 18%.
The acting ambassador of India to Tanzania, Manoj Verma, commends Tanzania for prosperous 60 years of the union of Tanganyika and Zanzibar, insisting that the union is a great achievement to Tanzania, highlighting some of the areas that India and Tanzania can explore farther to deepen ties. He made the remarks during an interview with my colleague Nasa Kingu, urging the Tanzanian government to continue to be exemplary in economic development and political stability for the people of Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar.
Tanzania is our valuable partner, sharing common values and serving as a significant ally in Africa. Together, we strive for progress and prosperity. Economic cooperation, of course, is vital pillar of our relationship with flourishing bilateral trade, and India as fifth largest investor in Tanzania. Tanzania is a key development partner of India. We have extended support in areas of education, healthcare, and capacity building, contributing to Tanzania's socio-economic development. One of the largest water project of $500 million is presently ongoing, which will provide drinking water to the 24 towns in Tanzania. So Zanzibar, we have also water projects in Zanzibar, which is near completion, and some of them have been recently inaugurated. So the opening of first offshore campus of Indian Institute of Technology in Zanzibar is a sort of very important landmark in India-Tanzania relationship. Similarly, cultural exchanges and presence of Indian diaspora have played a pivotal role in fortifying our bilateral ties. Indian diaspora have actively contributed to the development of the Tanzanian economy, infrastructure, and institutions building. Their role in acting as a bridge between Tanzania and Indian businesses has been exemplary.
English is one of the most spoken languages in the world. It is estimated that in 2023, there are around 1.5 billion people worldwide speaking the language, either as a native language or as a second language. Speaking to TBC News, various stakeholders say that English language has become an essential tool for global cooperation, development, and diplomacy.
Normally, you just learn English in school and maybe you're traveling a little bit. But when you have to work and everything is in English in the office, you're missing a lot of vocabularies, but you just have to try, and just learning by doing, and then you get better. It's very important. If you want to act international, you have to speak English. You have to know English, and you have to practice this. Don't be shy. For a lot of people, it's a foreign language, so it doesn't matter if you make mistake. Doesn't matter. Just keep on going.
Mchango wa lugha ya Kiingereza ni mkubwa, ni kama vile Kiswahili.
The English language has a great contribution in our today's life. English gave us a wide field to create a network with people from different nations in the world.
English as a language is very important aspect of communication, and communication translates in many other things, including how we do business, how we connect to other people, how we socialize across cultures and people and countries in the world. So it means a lot to a lot of people, and I think it quite impact the way they do business and even whether they succeed or not.
23rd of April every year is designated as the English Language Day by the United Nations, being traditionally observed as both the birthday and date of death of William Shakespeare, who is the English language's most famous playwright. Historically, Shakespeare has played a great role in modern-day English. Now, before we wind up local news, let's take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Do not miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Stay tuned for all the latest in international news. And here is international news as compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read to you by Kanki Mwagomole.
10 people were killed on Tuesday after 2 helicopters collided in mid-air during a rehearsal for a Royal Malaysian Navy parade. The Malaysian Navy says all the 10 people were crew members aboard the aircraft involved in the accident, which occurred at the Lumat Naval Base in the western state of Perak on Tuesday morning. More news from the Malaysian Navy added that all victims were confirmed dead at the scene and sent to the Lamat Army Base Hospital for identification. 2 United Nations top officials on Tuesday called on the UK to reconsider its plan to transfer asylum seekers to Rwanda, warning the move would have a harmful impact on human rights and refugee protection. In a joint statement, Filippo Grandi, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, and Volker Turk, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, called on the UK to instead take practical measures to address irregular flows of migrants and refugees. Grandi says the new legislation marks a further step away from the UK's long tradition of providing refuge to those in need in breach of the Refugee Convention. Also, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, who criticized the plan before, said that the legislation seriously hinders the rule of law in the UK. Early on Monday, the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promised to start sending asylum seekers to Rwanda within 10 to 12 weeks as the upper house of parliament passed legislation that had been delayed for weeks by attempts to alter the plan. The plan is part of a key policy promise he made to tackle illegal immigration, but had been held up repeatedly by the unelected House of Lords. The UK government plans to deport to Rwanda some of those who entered the United Kingdom illegally and has a deterrent to migrants. And more than 50,000 people have been displaced by clashes in a disputed area in northern Ethiopia. The United Nations says as the international community expressed concern about the violence involving fighters from rival in Alamata town, Raya, Alamata, Zata and Ofla since 13th to 14th of April 2024. He added that the humanitarian situation is terrible, with thousands of women and children in need of broad humanitarian support to survive. Amhara forces occupied Raya Alamata in southern Tigray during a 2-year war between Ethiopia's government and regional Tigrayana authorities. Amhara, Ethiopia's second most populous region, has been racked by clashes since April 2023, when the federal government's decision to dismantle regional forces across the country triggered clashes.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And in sports news, JKT Tanzania and Young Africans Premier League match has been postponed due to waterlogging at Major General Isamuhyo Stadium in Bweni, caused by the ongoing heavy rainfall in Dar es Salaam City. Match Commissioner Kamwaga Tabwe says that they made inspections of the pitch with match officials and agreed that the game could not be played under such conditions.
Mchezo huu kama ambavyo umeahirishwa, itatambulika kwamba mchezo huu umeahirishwa kabla
This game has been postponed, so either it can be played tomorrow or scheduled for another day. But in principle, if it had been played even for 1 minute or 30 seconds, it means that this game was supposed to be repeated tomorrow at 10 a.m. But we will continue to provide information to the relevant authorities so that they can make decision in scheduling for another date, as the football ground has been flooded with water.
Mchezo ni kwa namna gani utarudiwa kuchezwa baada ya kuahirishwa kwa siku hii ya leo kutokana na chagizo la uwanja kujaa maji.
Young Africans is on top of the Tanzania Premier League table with 58 points, while their rivals JKT Tanzania sit second off the bottom of the log with 22 points. Coordinator of Dar es Salaam City Marathon, Godfrey Minu, says this year's race will be used to promote tourist attractions in the city, aiming at accelerating the economy and the athletics in the country. Speaking during the inauguration of the race in Dar es Salaam, Minu believes that Dar es Salaam has many tourist attractions which need to be promoted for the betterment of the people and game in general.
There are many things that you can't see when you are in a car, but when you are walking, you can see them. Therefore, our route is very focused on those areas that we say are potential or are the primary attraction of the city of Dar es Salaam. For example, the police officer monument.
Dar es Salaam City Marathon will take place on May 5th and will involve more than 2,500 athletes from different places in the country. In other sports news, the technical director of the Rugby Union for Women in the country, TRU, Fatma El-Kindi, says that the rugby game has been used as a springboard to encourage environmental cleanliness in beach areas around the country. El-Kindi added that they used Bonanza to push the agenda to the public, as well as motivating people to play the game for its development.
The game of rugby has been here for many years in Tanzania, but we would like many people, we know many people who don't know much about it, and this is why we're also exhibiting rugby today for the young people. Right behind me, there are youngsters who just learned how to play rugby, and they're here to play rugby and showcase that rugby is played in Tanzania for the young.
The Rugby Association of the country has organized this bonanza today in Coco Beach, Dar es Salaam, with the aim of increasing the awareness of the game as well as cleaning the beach area. That's it for sports, but before we wind up, let's have a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello dear viewers, welcome to the next 24 hours of the forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. My name is Margaret Masawe. Wind is expected to flow with a speed of 40 kilometers per hour over the entire coast, and the state of the sea is expected to be rough. TMA is issuing an advisory of strong wind which reaches 40 kilometers per hour over the entire coast, and large waves which reaches 2 meters over the entire coast. Therefore, precautive measures have to be taken. Rainfall signals are still seen in many areas of the country, especially over the entire coast. And TMA is issuing an advisory of heavy precipitation periods over a few areas of Tanga, Unguja and Pemba Isles, Dar es Salaam, Pwani, Mafia, Morogoro, Lindi, and Mtwara. Therefore, precautive measures have to be taken. Tonight, we expect a partly cloudy condition and thunder showers over Lake Victoria Basin, western part of the country, northeastern highland, and the southern coast. While central part of the country, southwestern highlands, Morogoro, and Ruvuma are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rainy showers over a few areas. Tanga, Unguja and Pemba Isles, Dar es Salaam, and Pwani are expected to feature cloudy condition, thunder showers over a few areas. Tomorrow, we expect cloudy condition and thunder showers over some areas of the entire coast, including Morogoro. While Lake Victoria Basin, western part of the country, northeastern highlands are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, thunder showers over a few areas and sun periods. Central part of the country, southwestern highlands, and Ruvuma are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rain showers over a few areas and sun periods. Now let us see the next 4 days of the forecast for some regions of the country. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, we thank you for watching us.
On that note, we're ending our news bulletin for tonight. I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.
TBC1, ukweli na uhakika.